I'm happy to see you back on the channel, everyone. The tennis world has been rocked by some huge breaking news from Melbourne Park, particularly the American tennis establishment. The 2026 Australian Open has just produced a first-round showdown that many are referring to as the most explosive high-stakes collision of the whole opening week. The draws are out, and the brackets are locked. If you thought the first round was just a warm-up, you better think again. Today's sports sections include headlines that are blaringly obvious. The United States is completely stunned. Why? Because Alicia Parks, the American star and tremendous phenomenon, has received what many experts refer to as the ultimate nightmare draw. There isn't a qualifier for her. She has no prior expertise and is not dealing with the wild card. Alexandra Eala, the pride of the Philippines and the most formidable rising weapon in the Rafadol Academy, is the opponent she will face on the court. Eala recently made it into the top 50. Folks, this is more than just a match. Two entirely different tennis universes are colliding head-on. One of the hardest hitters in women's history, Alicia Parks, is on one side, a player who shares serve speed records with Venus Williams. When she's focused, this woman can literally smash anyone off the court. Conversely, there is Alexia, a 20-year-old lefty genius who has dominated the last 12 months of the circuit like a hurricane, making history for tennis in Southeast Asia and coming into Melbourne with the kind of form that wins Grand Slams. The shock here isn't just the matchup itself, it's the moment. All of this is taking place in the first round. Going home right away is one of these two extraordinary qualities. The American media is currently in a panic, understanding that Alicia Parks is in grave danger after witnessing Eala's recent slaughter of elite opponents in Oakland and Kooyong. We have been anticipating Eala's Australian Open main draw debut for years. We saw her persevere through the qualifying rounds. We saw her go through heartache. However, 2026 is not the same. She shows up as a serious contender rather than a hopeful. She is ranked 49th in the world when she enters. She has just defeated Olympic silver medalist Dana Donovic. She also shows up prepared to take apart the American power game piece by piece. We are delving deeply into this special program. We're not merely examining the numbers. We are analyzing this battle's psychology, mechanics, and overall narrative impact. Why is the United States of America so concerned? In the past 6 months, how has Eala changed her game? And why is the American behemoth up against the lefty counterpuncher in this particular stylistic matchup? The story that defined the first several days of the Australian Open. Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. The happy slam is going to get really serious. This is a comparison of Parks and Eala. The entire globe is watching this contest. To grasp the scope of the shock, let's get started. First, we must dissect these two women's identities in the setting of January 2012. Timing is crucial in tennis. Based on trajectory, a contest that was ordinary on paper 6 months ago could turn into a huge hit today. And even here in Melbourne, the paths taken by Alexandra Eala and Alicia Parks are both fiercely convergent and intriguingly dissimilar. Let's begin by discussing the story behind the headline. Eala's ascent. If you have been following our story, you are aware that Eala arrived in 2025. However, 2026 has been the year of authority since its beginning. The reason American observers are worried about this draw for Alicia Parks is because of what she has done in the past several weeks. It practiced more than simply in the offseason. She changed. Eala participated in the ASB Classic in Auckland prior to the Australian Open. This is a customary warm-up that is typically used to get rid of rust. It was a declaration for Eala. It's impressive enough that she advanced to the semifinals of a WTA 250 event on hard courts, but what's more impressive is how she accomplished it. She dismantled an experienced veteran. She overcame Magdala Linette, a player skilled at grinding a player who has previously achieved great success in Grand Slams. She was dismantled in straight sets by IA. That triumph served as a powerful signal. It demonstrated how Eala's aggressive offensive approach has blended with her defensive skills. She then proceeded to the Kooyong Classic. Critics may argue that it is merely a display, but Donna Vake will disagree. Vake is one of the finest ball strikers on the circuit, an Olympic silver medalist, and a Wimbledon semifinalist. In straight sets, Eala defeated her 6-3 and 6-4. That outcome wasn't an anomaly. It was a dissection. Eala negated Vake's force and revealed her movement. Quoter, force. Alicia Parks must deal with this version of Alexandra Eala. This isn't the adolescent qualification of the past. This player, ranked in the top 50, has faced the world's best. Eala's game has matured at the Rafa Nadal Academy to a point where she is no longer just getting the ball back. She's building points with her mentor's brutality. She can pin opponents far beyond the baseline thanks to her lefty forehand, which has significantly increased revolutions per minute. More significantly, though, her serve, which was frequently mentioned as a weakness during her younger years, has evolved into a tactical tool. It has nothing to do with speed. It has to do with positioning, opening the lane for the traditional serve +1 combination by pushing the ball further into the advantage court. Let's now turn our attention to the internet. We are examining Alicia Parks, an American powerhouse. Why, then, do the headlines imply that everyone in the US is tense? The reason for this is that American tennis fans are just as familiar with Parks' floor as they are with her ceiling. In essence, she is a Ferrari engine installed in a frame that struggles to turn corners. She is nearly unbeatable. When her game is on point, her game is on point. We are talking about a player who tied Venus Williams for the all-time record at the US Open with a serve speed of 129 mph. She defeated Caroline Garcia in France to win a WTA indoor title in Lyon. That takes a lot of perseverance. However, Parks is still a very unstable rival. In essence, her approach is either feast or famine. Almost every time she swings, she tries to destroy the ball. Thunderous ground strokes, forceful return, and massive serve. She appears to be top 10 material when those bullets land. However, when her timing falters, the unintentional mistakes mount up quickly. The notion that Parks has chosen the worst conceivable stylistic mismatch causes alarm among American supporters. The strategic analysis is provided here. Here, we delve into the specifics of why this competition is so intriguing. There is a philosophical conflict. Volatility against stability. Alicia Parks thrives on chaos. She requires swift points. Winner. Serve. Return. Miss. Serve. Return. She wants to take the racket away from you. She doesn't want to rally at all. She doesn't want to run from sideline to sideline for 10 straight shots. Commanding the center line is her aim. Conversely, Alexandra Eala has become an expert in controlled consistency. She naturally disrupts the flow of right-handed power batters, since she is left-handed. The geometry of the court must be taken into account. Park typically favors the inside-out forehand drive or the cross-court backhand. Parks' backhand is fed directly by Eala's big lefty top spin forehand, which often kicks up above shoulder height. A ball that leaps high and quickly is a problem for Parks. A flat batter, she is unable to drive through the shot. As a result, she is compelled to raise the ball, which frequently results in a feeble floater that Eala can punish right away. The mobility element is another issue that needs to be addressed. This is arguably the most obvious distinction in this matchup. Alexandra Eala's footwork has significantly improved. With open stance backhands reminiscent of the sport's contemporary legend, she is now sliding on hard courts while defending from the corners. She makes you take one more shot, and that one additional ball is frequently lethal versus Alicia Parks. When Parks has to hit 3, 4, or 5 balls in a single exchange, she usually falters. She loses all patience. She tries to wrap things up too quickly. Eala is aware of this. She will be quite clear about her strategy. Hammer the backhand, stretch the point, neutralize the initial serve, and wait for the error. The psychological warfare comes next. Since this is a grand slam, we must discuss the mental game. Alicia Parks is crushed by the burden she bears. There are high expectations. She is the elite potential American prospect trying to get back into the top 50. Her ranking points would be severely damaged if she lost to a younger opponent in the opening round. She is aware of the Eala stability. She is aware that the Eala will not give her a gift. Stress results from that. It feels like you have to paint the lines in order to win a single point when you are facing a brick wall. Errors result from that. The pressure is different for Alex. It is the burden of the past. Everyone in the Philippines is paying attention. She makes every game feel like a national celebration. The fun with that. However, she has consistently shown that she has ice water in her veins, from the US Open Juniors to the gold medal match at the SEA Games. Among fact, she feels better among the bright lights. Her on-court demeanor clearly reflects the Rafa Nadal Academy mindset. She doesn't break rackets. She doesn't freak out. She adapts to the changing circumstances. The surface of Melbourne Park must also be taken into account. Hard courts at the Australian Open are usually moderately fast, but one important factor is the heat. The ball will fly if this match takes place during the day. Parks' serve gains speed as a result, while Eala's topspin is favored because the ball kicks higher. Conditions slow down during a night session. It feels like a heavier ball. Because Eala is fit enough to fight for a long time, the odds are much in her favor. Physical demonstrations that would exhaust Parks' stamina. Through her rating, she has finally achieved merit of arc now. Take a look at this plot. Eala is making her Australian Open main draw debut. Through her rating, she has finally achieved merit after years of failing to qualify. This has a sense of destiny. She was not given an easy route by the cosmos, but it did provide her a chance to shine. It's more than just a victory to defeat Alicia Parks. It's a moment for the highlight reel. This triumph proves that I am capable of handling the tour's best hitters. The bracket is wide open if I accept this. She would be a real threat to anyone in round 2 with the confidence she would acquire from taking down a server like Parks. On the other hand, if Parks prevails, it demonstrates that she had the self-control to solve a challenging lefty conundrum. For the American, it would signify a turning point in their development. Because they are aware that this is a coin flip, the U.S. is anxious. They are aware that their star is entering a trap. For Parks, A is not your typical 50-50 matchup. She is a nightmare in terms of style. Let's examine Eala's most recent technical adjustments. Her serve toss changed according to Rafa Nadal Academy scouts. It is steadier and higher. That more effectively conceals her placement against aggressive returners such as Parks. Here, disguise is more effective than speed. Parks cannot crush the return if she is unable to read the tee or wide serve. Eala needs to keep her in suspense. What about the game of returns? Eala has courage. She refuses to back down from Parks.